Good morning, students. We read how the author wanted to do the Korah at Mount Kailash and he went with Satan and Dachan, his friend. So they crossed some icy layer and they were approximately 5,210 meters above sea level. The snow didn't look too deep to me, but the danger wasn't its depth, Daniel said, so much as its icy top layer. So they saw snow, and the depth was not the problem. The problem was its top layer. If they were going on a car on the ice, what can be the danger? If we slip off, the car could turn over, he suggested. As we saw Satan grab handfuls of dirt and throw them across the frozen surface. We both came in, and when the snow was spread with soil, Daniel and I stayed out of the vehicle to lighten Satan's load. So finally, Satan, Daniel, and the author they threw dirt on the ice so that their car could pass easily. He backed up and drove towards the dirty snow, eased the car onto its icy surface, and slowly drove its length without apparent clear difficulty. So they clearly crossed that. 10 minutes later, they had taken a shortcut, if you remember. 10 minutes later, we stopped at another blockage. Not good, sir, Satan announced as he jumped out again to survey the scene. This was again a bad thing for them. This time he decided to try and drive round the snow. The slope was steep, sharp, and studded full of major rocks. But somehow Satan negotiated them. He crossed them. His four-wheel drive vehicle lurching from one obstacle to the next. Lurching is uncontrolled movements when something is moving without control. So their car was also like jumping in that way. In so doing, he cut off one of the hairpin bends. Hairpin bends are a sharp U shaped bend in a road. So he cut that, regaining the trail further up where the snow had not drifted. And finally, they regained the trail, the path where the snow was not there. So they finally come to clean and dirty kind of path. I checked my watch again as we continued to climb in the bright sunshine. We crept past 5,400 meters and my head began to throb horribly. Some people have this kind of problem when they go to heights. Their health, there are some changes in their health, especially for their breathing problems. I took gulps from my water bottle, which is supposed to help a rapid ascent. If you drink gulps of water, then it can help your changes in the body. We finally reached the top of the pass at 5,515 meters. It was marked by a large cairn of rocks. Cairn of rocks we have already discussed. Cairn of rocks is a kind of a kind of shape of rocks made with the help of stone. So festooned means decorated with white silk scarves and ragged prayer flags. We all took a turn around the cairn, that hill, in a clockwise direction as in the tradition. So they did the parikrama. And Satan checked the tires on his vehicle. He stopped at the petrol tank and partially unscrewed the top, which emitted a loud hiss. The lower atmosphere pressure was allowing the fuel to expand. It sounded dangerous to me, means there was danger because petrol was uh, expanding. Maybe, sir, Satan laughed, but no smoking because then their car would blast. My headache soon cleared as we came down the other side of the pass. It was 2 o'clock by the time we stopped for lunch. We ate hot noodles inside a long canvas tent, part of work camp, built beside a dry salt lake. The plateau is pockmarked with salt flats and brackish lakes. So it is all pockmarked, famous for covered with salt flats. Salt flats, flat area of salt, flat land where the salt layer is there. Brackish lakes, lakes with salty water. vestiges, particles of the Tethys Ocean which bordered Tibet before the Great Continental collision where Gondwana, if you know about this, a supercontinent was there, and then later it got broken into pieces, and then the world took its shape, which is at present. So this collision that lifted it skyward, it went to this height. This one was a hive of activity. Men with pickaxes and shovels trudging back and forth in their long sheepskin coats and salt encrusted boots. So there they could see the men who were having pickaxes, a kind of an axe, a tool for breaking hard surfaces, and shovels. Shovels are a tool like a spade, broad blade you can say. With these things, they were trudging, walking back and along, back and forth in their long sheepskin coats and salt encrusted, salt covered boots. Because there was everywhere, there was soil, there was salt. All wore sunglasses against the glare as a steady stream of blue trucks emerged from the blindingly white lake laden with piles of salt. So, because the trucks were there crossing, so the salt could come to their eyes. So, they were wearing this sunglasses. By late afternoon, we had reached the small town of Hor, back on the main east-west highway that followed the old trade route from Lhasa to Kashmir. Daniel, who was returning to Lhasa, found a ride in a truck, so Satan and I bade him farewell outside a tire repair shop. So Satan and I, author. We had suffered two punctures in quick successions on the drive down from the Salt Lake, and Satan was eager, excited to have them fixed, since they left him with no spares. If these two were not okay, they were not having any spare wheel as well. Besides, the second tire he had changed had been replaced by one that was as smooth as my bald head. Hor was a grim, miserable place. There was no vegetation whatsoever, just dust and rocks. So, if somebody could see there, anything was just dust and rocks. Liberally scattered with years of accumulated means gathered, collected, refuse, which was unfortunate given that the town sat on the shore of Lake Mansarovar. Lake Mansarovar is a very popular one and very respected one, but still it was like a lonely place. Tibet's most venerated stretch of water, Mansarovar, is very very much respected. Ancient Hindu and Buddhist cosmology is the science of universe, pinpoints Mansarovar as the source of four great Indian rivers: the Indus, the Ganges. See again, it was dark by the time we finally left again, and after 10:30 p.m., we drew outside a guest house in Darchan for what turned out to be another troubled night. Kicking around in the open air rubbish dump that passed for the town of Hor had set off my cold once more. Again, he was feeling cold. Though, if truth be told, it had never quite disappeared with my herbal tea. He had never got relief from his cold. One of my nostrils was blocked again, and as I lay down to sleep, I wasn't convinced that the other would provide me with sufficient oxygen. My watch told me I was at 4,760 meters. It wasn't much higher than Ravu, and there I had been gasping for oxygen several times every night. At Ravu, he was not able to breathe properly. I had grown accustomed, habitual to these nocturnal disturbances. Nocturnal means active at night, but they still scared me. Tired and hungry, I started breathing through my mouth. After a while, I switched to single nostril power, which seemed to be admitting enough oxygen. But just as I was drifting off, I was going to sleep, I woke up abruptly. Something was wrong. My chest felt strangely heavy, and I sat up, a movement that cleared my nasal passage almost instantly and relieved the feeling in my chest. Curious, I thought. As soon as he was going to sleep, his chest seemed heavy. He got up, cleaned his nose, and everything was all right now. I lay back down and tried again, same result. I was on the point of disappearing into the land of Nod. Land of Nod means the state of sleep. when something told me not to, and that something was his nose. It must have been those emergency electrical impulses again, but this was not the same as on previous occasions. This breathing issue was not like same as the previous one. This time I wasn't gasping for breath, I was simply not allowed to go to sleep. Sitting up once more immediately made me feel better. I could breathe freely and my chest felt fine when he was sitting. But as soon as I lay down, my sinuses filled and my chest was odd. I tried propping myself upright against the wall, but now I could not manage to relax enough to drop off. He could not take any kind of rest. I could not put my finger on the reason, but I was afraid to go to sleep. A little voice inside me was saying that if I did, I might never wake up again. Maybe he would not be able to breathe and he would die. So I stayed awake all night. Satan took me to the Darchan Medical College the following morning. The medical college at Darchan was new and looked like a monastery from the outside with a very solid door that led into a large courtyard. So monastery is a building occupied by monks where they lived by all the rituals and traditions and all. We found the consulting room, which was dark and cold and occupied by a Tibetan doctor who wore none of the paraphernalia that I had been expecting. So he was not wearing all these kind of things doctors wear. No white coat, he looked like any other Tibetan with a thick pullover and a woolly hat. When I explained my sleepless symptoms and my sudden aversion to lying down, that he could not lie down, he shot me a few questions while feeling the veins in my wrist. So he asked quickly some questions to him. It's a cold, he said finally through Satan. A cold and the effects of altitude. I'll give you something for it. I asked him if he thought I would recover enough to be able to do the Kora. Oh, yes, he said, you will be fine. So the doctor said, yes, you will be fine. I'm going to give you the medicines, and after that, you can go to Mount Kailash. I walked out of the medical college clutching, having a brown envelope stuffed with full of 15 screws of paper. I had a 5-day course, so he had to take 3 screws daily of Tibetan medicine, which I started right away. I opened an after breakfast package and found it contained a brown powder that I had to take with hot water. It tasted just like cinnamon. Cinnamon, a spice in our kitchen. Cinnamon is दालचीनी बोलते हैं जिसको. The contents of the lunchtime and bedtime packages were less obviously identifiable. So this powder was not identifiable. Both contained small spherical brown pellets, a small round substance. They looked suspiciously like sheep dung, but of course I took them. So these medicines were actually looking like him to sheep dung, but he had to take it. That night, after my first full day's course, I slept very soundly, like a log. Not a dead man, but I slept without any movement. I was so tired. Okay, now some common things for your English. We use go with different prepositions. Go to, go on, go to the, go to go for, and simply go. So, what are the rules or some examples? With these words, we only use go home. Go to home is completely wrong. I am going to home. Please come to my home. Okay, it's go home. Go downtown, abroad, north, south, straight on, left, right, go right, not go to left, go to right, it's wrong. Go crazy, go up, go upstairs, go down or downstairs, go shopping, go running, go skiing, go dancing, go fishing, and go swimming. So, with all these words, we do not add any preposition. Next is where do we use go to? When we are saying work, college, school, university, prison, jail, London, England, Europe, America, Mars, dinner, or bed. When we say these words, we have to use go to. Go to work, go to college, go to school, go to university, like this. Next, go on. Going on holiday, go on record, go on a trip, go on a cruise, go on a safari, a ride, a binge, a rampage, a hunch, an adventure, a bus, the train, go on the train. Okay, go on and on when you ask somebody to keep on something. Go on fighting, go on to say. Go to the, we add the to the also with to. Go to the park, go to the cinema, theater, museum, library, bank, supermarket, airport, pub, zoo, lake, beach. Go to the beach. Go to the mountains, go to the specialist, doctors, dentists, or moon. Go to the moon. Go to a party, concert, gig, fair, show, shop. Go to a conference and go to a meeting. So with these words we use go to a. Next, last is where we use go for. Go for a run, a walk, a jog, a hike, a swim, a drive, a ride. Go for a nap. Go for a rest. Go for a meal. Go for a coffee or go for a drink. So note down these words and have a good day.